On a cold January morning in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, a crew of Amish carpenters finished the interior walls of a new workshop using a material that most modern contractors have never heard of. No spray foam, no fiberglass bats, no synthetic board of any kind. Just sawdust and lime mixed by hand in a wooden trough, packed into the walls the same way their grandfathers packed it and their grandfathers before them. The finished walls stayed warm in winter and cool in summer, and they are still standing decades later without a single crack. So, what exactly is this sawdust-lime mixture, and why did the rest of the building world quietly walk away from something that worked this well? The answer involves a $3 powder, a 1918 government document almost nobody has read, and a chemistry trick the Romans used 2,000 years ago that Amish builders never forgot. Stay with me, because by the end of this video you will know the exact ratio, the exact method, and the one ingredient that makes these blocks last practically forever. I first saw one of these blocks in a workshop outside New Wilmington, Pennsylvania. A man named Amish picked it up off a shelf, turned it in his hand and tapped it with a finishing hammer. It rang like stone. He set it down and said, "Sawdust and lime, that is all?" I did not believe him on the spot. I do now, completely. Here is what is actually happening inside that block. And this is real chemistry, not folklore. The powder is hydrated lime calcium hydroxide, the same thing farmers spread on garden beds to sweeten the soil. You can buy a 50-pound bag at any farm supply store for roughly $3 to $7 depending on where you live. When you mix it with dry sawdust and water and pack it into a form, the lime begins absorbing carbon dioxide directly out of the surrounding air. Slowly, over weeks, it converts into calcium carbonate, which is limestone. Your sawdust is being encased in stone that assembles itself from nothing but the air in your workshop. The technical term for this is carbonation. Amish just calls it curing, and the word is exactly right. In 1918, the United States Department of Agriculture published Bulletin number 697, written by a researcher named Rala Carpenter, documenting what rural Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Indiana farmers had been doing quietly for generations. Carpenter tested sawdust lime blocks against standard building brick. The sawdust lime blocks weighed 1/3 less than brick. They insulated 4 times better, and after 2 years of curing, they resisted crushing forces exceeding 1,100 pounds per square inch. That bulletin is still sitting in the National Agricultural Library archives right now. Almost nobody cites it. Almost nobody teaches it. So why not? In 1924, the National Lumber Manufacturers Association launched an aggressive push to standardize American home construction around dimensional lumber and later mass-produced sheet goods. Sawdust was quietly reclassified from a building material to industrial waste. Mills sold it cheaply, burned it, or dumped it, and the farmers pressing it into blocks for smokehouses and springhouses and chicken coops were told, gently but consistently, that they were doing it wrong. They were not doing it wrong. They were doing it independently, and that was the problem. Follow the money, and the answer gets uncomfortable fast. A $3 bag of lime and a bucket of free sawdust does not generate recurring revenue for anyone. A framing package, an insulation contractor, and a drywall crew absolutely do. Not because the old method did not work, because it worked too well and too cheaply. Now here is where Amish told me something that most people who stumble onto this material never hear. The ratio alone is not the whole story. The ratio his family has used for 6 generations is 4 parts dry sawdust to 1 part type S hydrated lime by volume, not by weight. Volume is forgiving because it accounts for whatever moisture is already sitting in your sawdust, which a weight measurement will miss entirely. You mix those two dry in a wheelbarrow until the color is perfectly uniform. No white streaks, no brown pockets, just a single blended material. Then you add water slowly, 1/4 of the total at a time, mixing between each addition. The final consistency should feel like thick oatmeal, wet enough to hold its shape when you squeeze a handful, but not so wet that water drips between your fingers. Amish calls this the fist test, and he says if a 10-year-old can pass it, that child can make blocks for life. But here is the piece that took me 2 visits to get out of him, and it is the reason a spring house built in Lancaster County in 1887 still has its original walls intact, while modern cinder block sheds crumble in 30 years. It is not what you add to the sawdust. It is not what you add to the lime. It is what you add to the water before you mix anything at all. Every Amish family Amos knew had a slightly different answer when he asked about this. Some said buttermilk. Some said whey left over from cheesemaking. One woman near Berlin, Ohio, told him her mother used the water saved from boiling potatoes. What they all shared was a single compound: casein, milk protein, or in the case of potato water, natural starches that behave chemically the same way. When you add roughly 1 cup of buttermilk or whey to every gallon of mixing water, the casein bonds with the calcium in the lime and forms a compound called calcium caseinate. It is the identical compound found in European frescoes that have lasted 600 years. It makes the block waterproof. It makes it roughly 60% stronger after 1 year of curing. It makes it last practically forever. A 1934 Penn State Extension Circular, number 187, written for dairy farmers who had surplus whey and did not know what to do with it, confirmed this in compression tests. Whey mixed blocks were 60% stronger than plain lime blocks after a single year. The circular went out of print in 1938 and was never reissued. There was no industry with a reason to keep it in circulation. This channel does not deal in miracle cures, so here is the honest part. Sawdust-Lime blocks are not a replacement for engineered structural lumber in load-bearing walls of a permitted residential home. In most jurisdictions, any structure over roughly 120 to 200 square feet will require a permit, and alternative materials require an engineered stamp from a licensed structural engineer to satisfy the inspector. That stamp costs a few $100s and is worth every cent for a real building. What sawdust-lime blocks are exceptional for, without any of those complications, is outbuildings, workshops, chicken coops, root cellars, garden sheds, and gap-filling insulation work inside walls you already have. Know the difference, work within it, and this material will serve you for the rest of your life. Now, the species of sawdust matters more than most people realize. Pine works well, but fresh pine sawdust carries active sap that fights moisture absorption for the first several days of curing. Amos's rule is that pine sawdust rests for a minimum of 90 days in an open bin, turned once a week before it ever touches the lime. Oak is the standard he trusts most. Oak carries natural tannins that bond with the calcium in the lime in a way pine cannot match, and the finished block comes out about 11% denser, which means better insulation and better fire resistance. He showed me a block his father made in 1962. 62 years old when I held it. No cracks, no soft spots, no discoloration. Here is what you do this weekend. Go to the hardware store and buy 1 50-pound bag of Type S hydrated lime. Specifically Type S, not Type N, which is a weaker grade meant for whitewashing. Type S has been fully processed to ensure no pockets of unhydrated calcium oxide remain. Pockets that would swell later when moisture finally reached them and crack your block from the inside. Go to the grocery store and buy 1 quart of plain buttermilk. Collect your sawdust, which any cabinet shop or flooring installer will give you for nothing. Mix 4 parts sawdust and 1 part lime dry until the blend is uniform. Add water mixed with 1 cup of buttermilk per gallon, slowly, using the fist test to judge consistency. Pack it into any form you have: an old bread pan, a wooden box with the bottom removed, anything sturdy. Tamp it hard, layer by layer, about 2 inches at a time, driving out the air pockets that would otherwise become weak points. Leave it in the mold for 48 hours in a shaded spot, out of direct sun. Then release it and let it cure in open air for a minimum of 28 days with spacers between blocks so air circulates on all sides. At the end of those 28 days, tap it with a hammer. It will ring like stone because it is stone you made from what was sitting in the corner of your workshop and a $3 powder. That is what they took from you, not a product. A piece of common knowledge that costs almost nothing to use and generates exactly $0 for anyone who might otherwise sell it to you. Amos said something to me that I've not been able to shake. The world will always sell you what you can make yourself. That is the whole business. Once you understand that, you cannot un-understand it. If you are the kind of person who believes real solutions were quietly set aside so someone else could keep sending you invoices, you already know what to do. Start with one block this weekend, not a wall, not a building, one block. Hold it 28 days later and let the weight of it do the convincing. Tell me in the comments what species of sawdust you have access to right now, because I want to know what people across the country are actually working with. And the next video on this channel covers a method Amish families use to hold a root cellar at a steady 52 degrees year-round with no electricity at all, using something most people discard every autumn without a second thought. You are going to want to see that one.